Hey guys and girls, and welcome back to the #1 channel on real estate. Now before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, and if you enjoy the video, make sure you subscribe to be part of the Daily Hit family. Now let's get back to the video. As we know, buying a house is a big decision, and not one to be taken lightly. Did you know that there are 3 things you can do before buying your next home? These tips will help you test drive your neighborhood before you purchase the property. Use these 3 easy-to-follow steps and make sure it's the right fit for you and your family. 3 tips to test drive a neighborhood before you buy the house. Would you buy a vehicle without taking it out for a test drive? Probably not. A test drive allows you to experience what it's like to own, live with, and use a vehicle for yourself, allowing you to notice the little things that you might miss if you don't drive it. After all, this is a sizable investment. And buying a home is an even larger commitment. After all, you're not only purchasing the property itself, you're also buying a new life in terms of your community, commute, local restaurants, and so forth. As a real estate professional in San Francisco, I've seen numerous clients worry about whether or not to buy a home. In my opinion, their worry is based on the unknown. What if I'm in an area where it's dangerous at night? What if none of my friends want to visit me here? What if I discover something about the community that makes me uncomfortable when it's too late to do anything about it? Well, the good news is that relocation doesn't have to be a blind leap of faith. That's why I constantly advise my clients to take a test drive in the neighborhood first, and here's how you go about doing it. Tip number 1, live like a local. The first step in this process is to spend some time in the area, ideally by booking an Airbnb accommodation as close as possible to the property. Of course, this isn't free, but the peace of mind it could give you about a location might be well worth the cost. Try and book for at least 3 days, preferably Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. With this, you'll be able to see what the neighborhood is like both during the week and on the weekend. Spend some time walking around the area during the morning, afternoon, and the evening to assess noise levels and safety. Check out the Citizen app, which offers crowdsourced crime reports and provides unfiltered, real-time criminal news in your area. Gray Hoffman, a former client of mine, decided to test drive San Francisco's Polk Street after hearing my advice. We had previously visited the location multiple times on weekday afternoons. On paper, we thought it would make a wonderful home and be a great investment, he recalls. We booked a studio apartment nearby for the weekend and quickly realized that loud weekend partygoers, while fun at first, would soon become annoying. Hoffman didn't end up buying the property. He also found the experience of test driving so instructive that he now encourages friends and clients to do the same. Tip number 2. Run through your daily routine and commute. In addition to noise and crime levels in the neighborhood, you want to know how long it takes you to get to work each day, shop for groceries, and run other errands. Make sure to use the method of transport you'll be taking, whether it's an automobile, a bike, bus, or anything else. A former client, Maddie West, believes that test driving your commute is especially important if you're traveling between the suburbs and the city. West says that San Francisco is a fantastic city, but there are certain areas that might be dangerous. I frequently leave work late at night, and as a woman there are definitely certain public transportation stops that I would rather avoid. It's better to know about these sorts of things sooner rather than later. Tip number 3. Sample the nightlife. Weekend parties and happy hours are standard components of building a social life. As such, you should schedule at least one night out with your friends in which you go to dinner or perhaps even bar hopping. Your aim should be to visit as many bars and parties as possible to get a sense of the area's nightlife and the social scene's ambience and demographics. My friend Ellen Gales, for example, has spent time in Manila, Jakarta, Kathmandu, Colombo, Sacramento, and San Francisco. As such, she's the resident expert on how to size up and quickly become a part of a city's social scene. You should go out with a few different groups of friends a couple of times. It's particularly useful if they have varied viewpoints and lifestyles from each other, she adds. It's important to get unfiltered feedback from your friends about the neighborhood. After all, they'll be the ones visiting you there. Make sure to let your friends know that you haven't made up your mind on whether or not to buy yet. Since, as Gail says, if your pals realize you haven't made a decision on the location yet, they'll be more comfortable offering their genuine opinions, and the perspectives you'll gain will be valuable. Test driving a neighborhood before you buy the house is an important step in finding your dream home. If you want to make sure that a real estate investment is the right move for you, it's best to explore and research as much as possible beforehand. This way, when it's time to put down roots, you'll be confident with your decision because of all the information gathered. When looking at homes for sale by owners or realtors online or through print advertisements, don't just focus on how nice they look from the outside. Take some time exploring what's inside, too.